I was already past the Miller place when every boarded window lit up at once, like yellow eyes snapping open. Headlights washed the weeds, the dead lawn, the chain on the front door. The town forgot this house. It didn't forget me. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. You shouldn't have seen that. I laughed because fear always makes me stupid. Seen what? I typed back. The reply arrived before I finished breathing. Turn around slowly. I did. The front door, chained for decades, hung a finger width open. Wind wasn't doing that. Something inside knew I was watching. The neighborhood soundscape, distant traffic, a dog, someone's TV went mute, like the night held its breath. I should have kept driving. Instead, I killed the engine. The silence slammed into me. I stepped onto the cracked pavement. Every light inside snapped off. The house stared back as a black box. Somewhere, a woman laughed, far, far away or right next to my ear. I reached the porch. The chain lay loose on the stoop, cold as river metal when I touched it. I nudged the door. It swung wider without a squeak, like hinges freshly oiled for a guest. Inside smelled wrong for a ruin. Fresh paint, lemon cleaner, cut flowers. I whispered, "Hello?" because fear makes you polite to monsters. The reply came as breath that wasn't mine. We've been waiting for someone who remembers. My phone buzzed again. A photo, my car idling at the curb, me on the porch, but taken from deep inside the house. Caption, "Come in, or the lights go home with you." Crossing the threshold felt like stepping off a curb you misjudged. That weightless panic before you hit. The foyer glowed with lamplight. Warm, domestic, impossible. Framed photos lined the wall. Strangers at birthdays and funerals. In each frame, faces were smudged like fogged glass, except one. Mine. I was raising a glass at a party I've never been to. "Okay," I said to the air. "I get it. Haunted." The chandelier tinkled as if amused. Footsteps creaked upstairs. Deliberate, heel to toe. "Hello?" I tried again, knowing better. A television in the parlor coughed to life, static resolving into a live feed. The front door, the foyer, me. Then the camera panned, though no one held it, toward a hallway that didn't exist a moment before. The TV whispered in a woman's voice, "Left." I looked left. A library stretched where the street should be. Walnut shelves bending into distance, spines breathing, exhaling dust motes like tiny moths. The front door behind me no longer opened to outside. It opened into another parlor. Same furniture, different colors, like the house was cycling skins. I put a hand on the wall. The paint pulsed once under my palm like a slow heartbeat. The chandelier dimmed, brightened. The TV voice again, "You will get lost if you keep thinking in straight lines." "Who are you?" "A good question if you plan to leave," she said. "A useless one if you plan to stay." The feed cut to a staircase, steeper than the one beside me, a throat of wood and shadow. At the top, a door with my last name brass-plated, polished, waiting. The knob turned on its own. My phone buzzed. "Don't be late for your own arrival." The staircase was wrong. Too many steps, then not enough. On the landing, wallpaper repeated a pattern of tiny keyholes. I leaned close. Each keyhole wasn't printed, it was real, an opening into a dark cavity. Breath moved behind them, slow as tide. At the door with my name, I hesitated. My childhood house never had a nameplate, but this one wore my identity like a trophy. The knob was warm, skin warm, and the wood didn't resist me. Inside, a bedroom curated from my life by someone who never met me but studied the echoes. My high school track medal, the paperback with my notes in the margin, that ugly lamp my college roommate loved. On the desk, a photo frame face down. I picked it up. The photo showed me asleep in my current apartment last week, the exact shirt draped over the chair, the exact bruise on my shin from the coffee table. The angle was from the corner where there is no corner, because my walls meet flush. "Why me?" I asked. The woman's voice came from the air vent, a soft draft shaping syllables, "Because you looked back. The ones who look back admit they can be seen." A mirror above the dresser clouded, then cleared. I expected me. Instead, the room in the reflection was subtly older. Same layout, but dustier. the lamp yellowed, the metal tarnished. In that mirror room, someone stood with their back to me. Tall, long arms dangling too close to the floor. Their head tilted, listening. "Don't turn around," I whispered to the reflection, to myself, to anyone. They turned. The face was a blur, like wet paint dragged by fingers, features smeared toward a smile that forgot how to stop. The glass cooled under my breath. My phone chimed. A calendar alert I never set. Housewarming party. Starts now. Beneath it, an address. My address. I ran for the hall. The door behind me didn't open to the landing. It opened to a dining room with a table long enough to seat a century. Place cards at every setting bore names I knew and names I'd only said once in my head. The head of the table had a blank card. A pen lay beside it, wet with ink. "Write it," the air said in the woman's voice. "Admit which version of you is eating tonight." I backed away. Chairs scraped, not one moved. All moved. The woods screamed. A chorus of legs dragging across old floors. The chandelier above the table held candles that had never been candles. Each wick was a black hair. They flared to life one by one, smelling like burnt photos. A phonograph in the corner clicked and spun. The record's label, "Welcome Home." The needle dropped, and what came out wasn't music. It was the sound of my apartment door unlocking. Once. Twice. A third time, slow. "Stop it," I said uselessly. On the far wall, an old television blinked. Now it showed my living room, live. Lights on. A shadow crossed the couch like a cloud over a field. The phonograph voice, hers, layered with others, whispered, "We told you the lights go home with you." My apartment hallway came into frame. The view tilted, lowered, as if someone, something, was setting the camera on the floor. Feet entered the shot. Bare, archless, wrong. They stopped at my bedroom door. My bedroom light snapped on. "Enough," I said, "I'm leaving." "Then sign the card," she said gently. I grabbed the pen, wrote nothing. The ink leaked into my skin. A cold rush, like opening your eyes underwater. The blank card filled itself. Guest of honor. The chairs shuddered as if pleased. Doors appeared along the walls, each labeled with a year of my life. Behind them, a chorus of rooms rehearsing my mistakes. One door at the end glowed, simple brass plate. Exit. I ran for it. The knob turned like a smile. The exit door did not lead outside. It coughed me into my apartment hallway, same squeaky floorboard, same coffee stain left of center. My front door was ajar like a mouth that had just finished a word. I stepped in, and the word kept echoing. The Miller house didn't transplant its walls, it imported its laws. Angles leaned a degree too soft. Air vents breathed with the tide. The ceiling light hummed the chandelier's note, unwavering, patient. I said, no, out loud, because naming a thing sometimes puts a leash on it. "We already know our name," the vents whispered in the woman's voice and not only hers. Other voices braided through, a town's worth of hush. "You brought us in your eyes." In the bathroom, the mirror delayed me by half a heartbeat. I raised a hand. My reflection caught up late, then overshot, fingers spreading like it was catching something I hadn't thrown. I turned the faucet. Water came out clean, then lemon sweet, then the thin, translucent yellow of lamplight. I killed the tap. The sink kept shining. My phone buzzed on the counter. New thread. Neighbors. A photo of me, taken from the top of the refrigerator where no camera sat. Caption, "Cut the cake." Another photo snapped itself. My back at this moment, shoulders tense, a smear of light lifting from my spine like steam. I went to the bedroom. The lamp clicked on politely by no one's hand. A cake replaced my pillow. White frosting, smooth as snow. I didn't want to read the frosting. My eyes read it anyway. "Thanks for looking back." The case flourished curved like a key. The closet door yawned. Coats shifted in a draft that didn't exist. Between them stood a tall silhouette with wrong-length arms. I couldn't see its face. It was considerate enough not to offer one. "What happens if I leave town?" I asked, hating my voice for sounding like a child asking about monsters under a bed that was now a banquet table. We like road trips, sighed the vents, amused. We pack light. What if I never look back again? You taught us how, she said gently, like a teacher praising a dangerous essay. Some lessons stick. Down the hall my neighbor's laugh rose and fell, or the house performed a neighbor with near-perfect pitch. Through the blinds, the whole block brightened one window at a time, east to west, a sunrise made from domestic bulbs. The rhythm matched a pulse, not mine, something larger that included me. Fine, I said. If you're here, eat with me. I carried the cake to the kitchen because manners are the last armor that fits. The knife drawer opened itself. I took the wrong knife, serrated, theatrical. The frosting dented like skin. Between layers, not jam, pages, thin as phyllo, printed with photographs. Each slice revealed another. Me sleeping, me brushing my teeth, me walking past the Miller house last winter without seeing it. The oldest page was dated the week I moved to town. The newest was dated tomorrow. I put the knife down. The cake didn't bleed. It exhaled a warm bakery breath that fogged the window in the shape of a handprint on the other side of the glass. On the living room TV, nothing had been playing. Now, without powering on, the screen found a channel. My front yard, live, as if the sidewalk wore a lens. People stopped under the streetlight. Not people. Silhouettes in coats that didn't move right. They arranged themselves like letters. From above, it would have spelled a word I decided not to know. My phone chimed a calendar update. Housewarming, recurring weekly. Address line animated, scrolled, became wherever you live. Notes, bring a friend who looks back. A second line wrote itself beneath, or we bring them. I won't bring anyone, I said. This ends with me. Hosts always say that, the vent smiled. The closet rustled. The tall shape stepped forward one pace. Careful, courteous, deliberate. I saw its hands now. Too many knuckles, each reflecting the room's warm yellow like tiny, obedient windows. It lifted one hand as if to wave, then turned it palm up. On the skin, lines formed a floor plan. My floor plan. The kitchen, the hall, this bedroom, a new room butted near the closet, a small square with no door. Not here, I said, and the word here shook dust from the ceiling like a dog after rain. The plan in its palm altered. The new room detached and drifted to the edge of the map, then outside it entirely, hovering off-scheme like a thought you've almost had. The figure tilted its head, waiting for permission I didn't remember offering. Why me? I tried again, the question that had survived all others. The TV darkened to a mirror. In it, I stood in the Miller foyer, lamplight buttering the frames. The woman's voice didn't come from the vents now. It arrived from the television's glass as if distance were something only shoes respect. Because you still think doors are for leaving or arriving, she said. Some of us know they are for teaching. The front door in the TV opened. The foyer in the TV looked into my kitchen. The camera in the TV looked through the TV into me. I tasted lemon, static, warm, vanishing sugar. I went to the breaker box because rituals help. Flip every switch, pull every plug, return the world to zero, and rebuild it in a safer order. I killed the power to the apartment. The fridge hushed. The heater died. The lights remained. They were not on. They were present. In the silent, electrical dark, I heard the apartment's bones settle. The sound wasn't creak. It was feet on stairs, but I lived on one level. A draft stroked the hair at the back of my neck from the direction of the wall, which walls don't do. Okay, I said to the house that was two houses. Lesson learned. Now teach me the rule that lets me sleep. Silence considered me. Then the woman offered a rule. Don't look back alone. Across the street, a window went dark. Not off, resting. Another followed, then another. Like eyes closing not from fear but from trust. My lamp dimmed, not in obedience to a switch, but in response to my breath evening out. The closet's coats fell still, the tall silhouette folded into the negative space clothes leave for a body, which is to say, it stayed. Every week? I asked. Every week, she confirmed. Until you teach someone else not to be alone when they look back, then you may rest between lessons. What if I refused to teach? The cake's frosting sweated a single bead that traced the K's key into a question mark. My phone, face down, vibrated a yes or a no. I left it unanswered. I carried the cake to the trash, thought better, set it on the table, cut a slice so thin it was almost memory, and took a bite. It tasted like summer nights when you don't know you're being watched because nothing means harm yet. It tasted like a light left on for you when you swear you didn't ask. I swallowed, and a warm filament unspooled behind my eyes. In the mirror, my reflection finally synchronized. For now. My apartment's bright steadied into ordinary brightness that will never be ordinary again. Outside, the block quieted, a neighborhood pretending to sleep. I turned off my lamp. The room stayed faintly lit, the way rooms do when a city hums through their walls. I lay down, careful not to crush the cake box ribbon, and listened to the vent breathe like tide. When sleep came, it arrived through a door I did not own. It closed behind me with the softest party click. Somewhere far and next door, a woman's voice said, pleased and tired in equal measure. Good. Another who remembers.